Shae Russell from mining.com.au, and joining me today is Brendan Cummins, the Managing Director for Black Canyon. Brendan, it's great to see you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Shae. Just acclimatising back to Perth temperatures again after being on site.
I love that you're saying acclimatising to Perth temperatures, which is probably somewhere in the high 30s. When you are fresh loosely, out of the Pilbara, which is a hot and humid season this time of year. Listen, mate, I know you said you're excited to get back out to the Wandanya Project. So what was so good about your trip that you just had to get out there when it was, 45 degrees in the shade this time of year?
Yeah, look, the rocks had to be looked at. We got those initial drill results out from the Wandanya Project, the W2 prospect within that project area, and they were looking very promising. So I think we ticked the box in terms of grade, demonstrating that there's a hydrothermal manganese system in there. But what I wanted to do is actually follow up mapping to the north, because I was aware that in previous trips that I've done, there is manganese to the north, and I just wanted to do a bit more detail on that and just map it out so we could start to understand the scale potential of the mineralisation. So we initially drilled only 240 metres strike of this, and we got, out of the 35 holes that we drilled, I think it was 26 of them actually intersected manganese greater than 20%. That's a first pass program. That's a fantastic success rate for a first pass program. So we've still got another, odd 2.7 kilometres of strike of this thing to go and explore and evaluate with further drill programs. So yeah, the conditions were tough. It's the Pilbara this time of year. It's like mid-40s in the shade. It's actually so hot the flies don't even want to come near you. You just put up with that stuff. You just got to do it because the job's important. It's important to get out there and understand this mineralisation so we can set ourselves up for next year to hopefully get back out there and bang some more holes into this.
I have to say, I love seeing an MD who can't wait to get out to go look at the rocks, in spite of the fact that the desert is quite inhospitable at this time of year. Now, as you just pointed out, you were keen to demonstrate the grade of the project. And obviously, a lot of the work that you were trying to do out there this time around was about mapping and sampling. Tell me, when will we get to sort of get a look at what the overall strike is? When can we get to our eyes on these maps?
So with the drill results we put out yesterday, which is the 14th of November, the consistency of the mineralisation is really quite striking. These numbers that we put out in the mineralisation, they were 6 metres at between 25 and 30% manganese, and then of that 6 metres, 3% of it is above 40%, and 3 metres of it is around 20%. 3 metres of it is around 40% manganese. So that's quite unusual. And the purpose of the mapping was to see if we can follow that channel or that seam of manganese all the way to the north. So that's what we did. Myself and my field manager, we went out there and just tracked it, metre by metre in the gullies, over the hills, everywhere to ensure that we could map out this manganese horizon in more detail. What was also interesting was the amount of iron mineralisation that we're seeing up there. Now, this province that we're exploring in isn't known for iron mineralisation, and it doesn't look like your standard banded iron formation. I've worked in iron ore industry previously, and you just crack rocks open and it's hematite. The rock chip samples we've released previously, they were a 60% plus hematite, and it's solid, high-grade hematite. So that's an interesting aside. So if we can get drilling next year, we'd also like to test the manganese, obviously, but put a few holes into this iron ore as well and just see why is it there and how much could be there. So that'll be another interesting part of the programs over the next 6 months.
Look, the Wandanya Project is certainly shaping up to be an interesting find from Black Canyon. But what are you looking to achieve going into 2025?
So we do have another 314 million tonnes of resource over our other projects, KL1, KL2, recent discoveries. We've done a scoping study on that. There's certainly more work to be done around the metallurgy of that as well to improve, to continue improving the concentrate grades we can deliver from there. So that's part of the plan for next year. we've already done the initial 12 months baseline fauna, flora, vegetation surveys over those. So we can complete those reports and go to follow-up surveys as well when required. So that's I guess the larger manganese projects that we do have in our portfolio. With Wandanya, be really great to be able to put further holes into this prospect, define a mineral resource potentially, and also understand this iron mineralisation that we're encountering in there as well. Because some of this manganese is possibly DSO, so direct shipping grades. So at 40%, yeah, that's the kind of material that you can mine it, crush it, get it on the ship, and sell it. The material that's around 20%, we look at beneficiating that probably through dense media separation. So that test work will also be happening over the sort of the Christmas, New Year break, and we should have that information early next year. So there's always plenty going on. We're a pretty small company, so we can keep the programs moving. We won't be, I guess, hanging up the boots just yet. We've still got a fair bit of work that we need to get through.
Mate, if you get back out into the north in the wet season, I will be super impressed, and I'm also going to be the first person to hear about it. Listen, Brendan, thank you so much for being here. I'm loving watching this Wandanya project evolve. I can't wait to see what Black Canyon produces next.
Great, no worries, Shae, and we look forward to releasing more information and news over the coming months.